What is going on with Karoline Leavitt? People were talking about this. So I think they're talking about her eye, that it looks like she has a little bit of a black eye. I've heard people were talking about before, and it's kind of like making a resurgence. People thinking that she's being abused. You know, you're seeing it. It's not going on in the other eye. It's not like normal bags, like tired bags. It does look like her left eye is swollen and a little bit of shading. And this is something that people have been noticing before. Now, we could be piling into something here that is not accurate, or it could be like some other condition. I just think it's weird, but she keeps, you know, having fucking what looks like some bruising or something just on the left eye. And so people have been suspicious that maybe she's having some problems at home.
Look, the president has made it quite clear to the Iranian regime at this.
Yeah, I mean, she does. There does look like there's something funky with that. Now, here though, this was back in April, the end of March, and this is like today, right? This is today. This is talking about the Trump teleprompter. She does have a baby, but her baby was born May 1st. So this one was before she had a baby. This was March 31st. So this is a full month before she had that kid. Here's the thing that I do want to say, okay? Because obviously this is not a lot of evidence of like, okay, that she's being hit. But here's one thing I will say. When women are getting hit, there's almost never an instance where you think, oh yeah, I believe she's getting hit. Okay? That's what's really weird about this shit. Men who hit women, none of the women's friends ever think the man is really hitting them. And so usually when it finally comes out, there's like this weird cognitive dissonance where even the women's good friends, if they don't know about it, don't really believe it, because the women will cover it up with stories. They will, right? They always put on a happy face, you know. Now, the only reason, okay, that like, I don't want to make huge assumptions here, but I will say this though, the fact that Karoline Leavitt chooses to work in a space with so many abusers, it's very believable that she could be in a relationship with an abuser. Let me just tell you, conservative women, if they are getting hit, are not going to tell their friends, okay? A liberal woman is far more likely to tell her friends, but a conservative woman would be the last person to fucking tell their friends. If she is getting hit, guys, if she is, I'm not going to say she is, because I don't think there's enough evidence at all to justify this. But if Karoline Leavitt is getting hit by her husband, she's not going to tell anyone. Conservative women normally don't. They take that shit to the grave. And especially if that type of thing could endanger her standing in the Trump presidency, it could endanger her job. It would look bad on Trump. If this shit was going on, she would like totally put that shit under wraps.
I spoke with him about it. He believes it's deeply unfortunate and frankly a disgrace. And the individual that was cited in that report is complying with the CFTC. There will be a teleprompter operator tonight, of course, but it will not be the one, unfortunately, in that story. Extremely strict ethical guidelines with respect to issues like this. It
looks like there's something going on with her nose, too.
This individual will no longer be here. He'll be on.
Now, this could be a plastic surgery thing, too. Right? Yeah, there's definitely more makeup. It looks like there's something going on with her nose. It could very well be plastic surgery or something, but I'm going to look at this shit a little more closely and keep an eye on this. I grew up in a household where there was not actual facial hitting, but there was like arm grabbing and yanking and slamming against the refrigerator and shit. And my dad was very violent and very aggressive, but what was crazy is nobody ever saw it. Okay, nobody did. Everybody in the family, everybody, all my parents' friends loved my dad. They fucking loved him. He was the life of the party. Nobody, and in fact, when anyone was mad at my dad, people were like, why are you getting mad at your dad? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it always is like that. You know, you never expect it. I just know that Christian conservative women, when that is happening to them, they don't speak up, guys. They really don't. They're, especially in a situation like this. If it were, you know, it's something that could endanger Donald Trump or his presidency or her job, she would be under incredible pressure to figure it out and not have that become a thing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't see a lot of evidence that it is that, but I've seen enough instances of this over the last 6 months where it's been like a recurring thing that maybe something is going on. Like maybe she is going through some shit. Maybe that is why she is so fucking dysfunctional. Like, I don't know. I mean, you know, they certainly didn't think Donald Trump's faith advisor was a child molester. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't know. Because, you know, but people were certainly fucking, like, talking about it. They have been talking about it. Dude, she is troubled. She is. You know what I'm saying? She is a troubled human being, guys. A lot of women are with abusive men. They are. They are. It's like people get uncomfortable, though, because people don't want to believe that that shit actually happens. But it happens. Let me just put it to you this way, guys. There are 4,000 women murdered every year, and 35% of those murders are their fucking husbands or their boyfriends. You know what I'm saying? It is like a rampant problem. Like, if you go to work in a corporate environment, no matter where you work, no matter what city you are in, you go to work tomorrow at your corporate job, there is somebody in your building that has bruises covered up. Like, it is like crazy fucking shit. It is like way more widespread than anybody ever wants to admit. But it's Karoline Leavitt. See, I care about that shit. Even if it is Karoline Leavitt, you know, I don't want anybody to suffer with that shit, whether it's Karoline Leavitt or somebody, you know, in the Democratic Party. Now, I'm also going to admit that if it were somebody in the Trump admin, I would exploit it politically too, of course, right? You know, I would be concerned both for her and like the political exploiting of it. Absolutely. You know, but I think I'm a little extra sensitive to that shit because I grew up around it. And, you know, it's the same way with like the sexual abuse, you know, those topics like the Epstein stuff or people that are involved in SA like Trump's faith advisors. That shit like really hits me because it hits me home. It hits home because I've, you know, been through that. I mean, there was something that on the Democratic side, guys, that came up today that I think is worth looking at. It's Ruben Gallego. Now, we don't know if this is true yet, okay? Because right now it's the New York Post, okay? Which the New York Post, we know what it is, but it says the New York Post reports Ruben Gallego had sexual relationships with 2 House staffers. Citing unnamed sources, the report alleges that Gallego acknowledged the relationships. Now, we remember Ruben Gallego was really good friends with Eric Swalwell, who also was the most believable woman abuser ever. Okay, now Ruben Gallego first defended Swalwell, then turned tail and like threw him under the bus, but as close as Gallego was to Swalwell, you know that Ruben Gallego had to have information. He heard the scuttlebutt about Swalwell, as a lot of people did in Congress, and nobody said anything until it came out, because that's how it works. People keep shit under wraps. Now, the thing about this, though, is the other thing you'll notice with Ruben Gallego is this guy is kind of right-wing. He voted for the Laken-Riley Act. He is definitely like pro-Zionist. Absolutely. Like Gallego is one of those Democrats that is like a Republican light. I've never really liked this guy, Ruben Gallego. I heard people talking about him for president, and I was like, F this guy. This guy is way too Republican for my taste, even though he's a Democrat. I've not really liked him at all. But my point being with the Ruben Gallego is, if we find out Ruben Gallego is fucking around with staffers and being a power monger, like, we're going to boot his ass too. Okay? He's not getting a pass because he's a Democrat. If he's an abuser, like, you know, and I mean, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if this guy's an abuser. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, he was pretty close to Eric Swalwell. They were like best buddies. And let me just tell you, people who are best buddies with abusive men usually have some abusive male tendencies in there as well. Okay? You're hearing the stories. You know how they treat women. Okay? If you are close friends, yeah, Donald and Epstein, there's no fucking way Donald didn't know. When you are close friends with men, if they are shitty to women, you fucking know it. I've ended friendships because of that shit. Yo, political punk here. I know, it's killing me. Seriously, guys, if you like what we do around here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn those noties on. And I wouldn't be anywhere without the members. So if you want to hit the join button, we really appreciate that too. Thank you so much, guys. It's getting crazy out there, and I'm just really glad to not be going through this alone. All right? All right, keep your chin up. Let's go, boss. All right, fuck you. Bye-bye.